from the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com. You're listening to the Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
How would you know? You never know. How would you know? I'm the king of Roppongi, sneaky style. 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 Bow down to the king. Roll strong like a Humvee. Act like you don't love me, but I know you wanna hug me. I did Roppongi Vice. I did Roppongi Lights. 3K is taking flight, but this king right here won't sleep tonight or any night, and that's fact.
The only imagine what Granny's thinking right now. That is Sneaky Style, everybody, by one Rocky Romero from his new album. Are you aware that Rocky Romero has a new album?
I believe I was.
Yes, Rocky Romero's got a new album out. That is the title track, Sneaky Style. It's available tomorrow. If you'd like to grab your copy, it's going to be everywhere tomorrow. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say everywhere? I've actually got a list right here. Spotify. I don't even know what that is. Apple Music, Google Play.
Ken is appalled you do not know what
and
Spotify
more.
is.
Sneaky Style will be available.
Ken never shows any emotion.
No,
but
he did that time. Hey, listen, it
Your
doesn't
star is
matter.
fallen.
It doesn't matter, everybody. Don't you get it? That's why it's available in a bunch of different places. Maybe you don't know what Spotify is. Well, you go to Apple Music. Maybe you don't know what Apple Music is, Ken. Well, you can go to Google Play. It's going to be available everywhere. It's Rocky Romero's Sneaky Style. I got a link up on my Twitter at Bryan Alvarez, so go up there and check it out. Maybe I'll be playing some more tracks here. Always on the Granny Show when she is waiting on the line for this show to begin. Because yes, Granny is here today. We're doing things differently. What's going on, Granny?
Oh, I'm on?
You're on.
Not too much.
You're like an Observer Live caller. Am I on the air? Hello?
Hello.
How are you doing today? What's up, Granny?
I'm beat already, and we haven't even started.
Well, yeah, because Granny had to learn how to connect after my power had gone out.
Yeah.
Granny, at some point, Tony is going to come over to your house, and he is going to set your box up so that you don't have to ever do this again. I will be able to connect to you if need be.
I get a visit from Tony?
Yeah, can you imagine?
How exciting.
Oh, well.
For everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait to be there, even though I won't be there for it. Maybe he'll come over after your birthday party, Granny. Are you all aware that Granny's 90th birthday party is coming up, I believe, this coming weekend? Is that right? Sunday?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. It's Sunday, everybody. I'm going to give you all the details here in a moment. And I have had people asking me, if I have any more people that are RSVPing, and, they keep asking me about Vinny.
What do they keep asking you about, Bryan?
Is Vinny going?
And what do you tell them, Bryan?
I said, well, I'll ask him on the air. And killed him. So, Vinny, are you going to Granny's birthday party next Sunday?
I will be there. I probably won't be there all 4 hours.
Well, actually, you should come near the end because it's a pay-per-view Sunday.
Yeah.
So you may as well come near the end, and then you can go home and do that. So, yes, Granny, Vinny will be there. What about Bridget?
I will invite her. I have not...
All right. Excellent.
Gotta have Bridget there.
What about you,
That's what
Ken?
I always say, Granny.
Putting you on the spot. Are you going to be there at Granny's 90th birthday?
We shall see.
That means no, Granny, just so you know.
No, it doesn't. I'm not like you.
What do you mean we
no,
shall
I'd say
see?
no.
Like, it's Sunday. How do you not know yet? Even I know what I'm doing Sunday. I'm going to Granny's 90th birthday party.
Okay, I'll be there.
All right, thank you.
Brian, we got quite a few already.
Well, we're going to have
She's tired of you wasting her time.
we're going to have even more. Hey, listen, this is your last chance, everybody. If you want to go to Granny's 90th birthday party, it's this coming Sunday, November 3rd, between 11 and 3 o'clock p.m. You do not need to be here there the entire 4 hours. Just pick and choose a time. It's a 4-hour window we've got.
But Brian, we have to know if you're coming, so let Val know.
Yes. Well, RSVP me, Bryan at WrestlingObserver.com. And when you RSVP, if it's more than you, let me know how many people are coming so we can have food. It is going to be at the Thorndike Room at McMenamins Anderson School here in beautiful Bothell, Washington. So if you'd like to go, if you happen to be in the area, if you happen to be traveling to the area and you want to attend Granny's 90th birthday party, November 3rd, 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, McMenamins Anderson School, the Thorndike Room. Got it, everybody?
Word.
I think we got it. Yes, Ken.
Granny, what would you like for your birthday?
I don't need any presents.
What a loaded question. Well, Granny, people are going to bring presents, so why don't you come up with an idea for Ken here? He wants to bring you something.
Oh, I just don't want any presents.
Why don't you bring a Wendy's gift card?
I was thinking I'm going to probably get 1 million of
We're going to end up
those.
with 50 Wendy's gift cards.
Oh, well, that's okay.
You're going to be eating Wendy's free for a year, Granny. Think about that.
Wow.
Yes. You sound so excited.
No, she did, actually.
Yeah.
I might have to add it in my will. Who gets my Wendy cards?
Who gets your extra Wendy's cards when you're gone?
Yeah.
Well,
Every time you have a bacon in your
I will answer the question for you right now, Granny. Will them to Paisley. She'll be very happy.
Oh, that's
What
right.
does Paisley like at Wendy's?
The little kids' meal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brian, I
Nuggets?
finally found a picture of little, I forget her name.
Hanalei.
Hanalei, of her smiling, and I put it on my Facebook.
I like how you say you finally got a picture.
Well, I
How long do you
just-
think she's been smiling for?
I don't know, but I
Like
just
3
saw
days.
it just now.
Well, that's why it's taken so long, because she just now started.
That's cute.
Yeah, she is cute. That is correct. She actually is really cute. I don't know if you've noticed, Vinny. It's a very cute baby.
That's good to hear.
And I'm not even really, some people really like little babies. But to me, they're just like, they don't do anything. And they really all look the same. Am I wrong?
They don't all look the same.
They pretty much all look the same when they're like a week old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about this, Vinny? I got 2 of them.
Well, you would know better than I would.
But this one is particularly cute. We took her to the chiropractor.
The what?
Well,
You take a 6-week-old baby?
Does
Does he even have bones at that
he
age?
doesn't crack her or anything like that. It's just like he's a cranial sacral, or not even that. He'd be mad if he heard me say that. He's a craniopath, something like that. They just like take some tension out of the baby or whatever. Anyway, he works on people's heads. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. Like he pushes on your head and a bunch of magic, basically. But anyway, he said that Hanalei had the most perfect head he'd ever seen.
Wow.
That's what he said. I'm not making this up. So, yeah. Hopefully it stays that way.
That's the goal.
Yeah. All right, let's get going here. What do we got?
The contest, Granny has written, says, write a short birthday wish to me. Promise to read them all, but not on the air. And while we had connected with Granny while you were using the facilities before we went on the air here, she alerted me that she has selected 6 that she likes best.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I guess if I don't get to them, she'll read those 6, I guess.
Well, I mean, if it's a quick greeting, maybe we can get to most of them.
I'll just give you the names of any, and you can find them.
All right, let's try.
What could possibly go wrong?
Besides everything?
Aaron Close, a top fan. Happy birthday, Granny. Thank you for making me smile every week. I love hearing you on the radio when you speak. Hope you have the best day, and lots of good luck comes your way.
So was this supposed to be a poem, or is it just...
Just his birthday wish.
Okay, well, that's very nice. I like that. I like that he made it a poem as well. Have you ever read Fox and Socks?
Dr. Seuss?
Yeah,
A long time ago.
brutal. It's like
A tongue twister?
well, we only saw the cover. She likes Dr. Seuss. And I know she didn't have Fox and Socks, so I ordered it off Amazon, and it arrived today. And I said, hey, let's read this book, Paisley. Thought it was going to be a real simple Dr. Seuss book. It's this preposterously complicated tongue twister book.
Excellent.
Brutal to get through. Then, of course, the moment I'm done, she goes, again? She wants me to read this book over and over and over again.
That means you're a good dad.
It means it's the biggest mistake I've ever made. Next one.
Nathan Cox. Happy birthday, Granny. Suggestion, please do a live Q&A at some point and make sure it's recorded.
Wait, maybe we'll do it at her birthday party. I thought about that.
I think she's writing it down. John Tab Somerville says, happy birthday, Granny.
Oh, how nice, John. The nicest thing you've ever said that I've heard.
Moses Marquez. Happy birthday, Granny. I think you should wish for Bryan to negotiate for you to do the voice reading of his new book. I'd buy it.
You know how long it took me to do that book? I'll make you a deal. I'll see if I can get Granny to read the introduction by Lance.
Somehow that would be even funnier.
How about that?
That'll be good.
Sure.
Gianfranco Ocampo, a top fan.
Is he French and Irish?
Italian.
Oh. Ocampo?
There's no apostrophe there.
Oh, I
I'm not
see.
sure where Ocampo comes from, but
Okay.
Gianfranco. Anyway, Granny. Every B&V and G show brings an instant smile as I listen. You are a welcome addition, and I hope you enjoy every Wendy's meal that comes. HB.
It's like HH, Hulk Hogan's Twitter.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. That's right. I guess his name didn't start with an H or a B.
Neither does hers, no. Tim Page, a top fan.
Was he like charged by the letter? That's why he couldn't type out happy birthday there?
Well, he used all his letters in Gianfranco Ocampo.
Okay.
No letters left.
I see.
Tim Page, a top fan. Happy birthday, Granny. You really make us smile. 90 is a big one. I hope you win a pile of cash at bingo.
What do you think, Granny? You have any comments on any of these nice things people are saying about you?
Tim, I thought that was funny.
Well, after he's done, I'm going to pick the ones I like the best.
So she is going to hold her tongue until the end.
Pick which people putting her over are her
But
favorites. Okay.
Brian,
Yes.
I read every one of them, and I love them all.
I believe that, Granny.
Thank you, thank you.
I
20
believe.
minutes of me reading Facebook comments and Brian replying. Got it. Edward Laredo. I wish you nothing but happiness, Granny. I also wish you would lock Brian in the closet again.
I never locked him in the closet.
I was put in the closet. I wasn't locked in the closet. There's a big difference.
I guess so.
I could leave that closet of my own accord.
You can come over and sleep in it again if you want to.
Think I'd fit?
Yes.
You shut up.
Joe Curtis Rindle. Happy birthday, Granny. I wish you could come to London and enjoy a cheeky Nando's.
What's that?
It's a chicken restaurant.
Oh,
Nando's Chicken. Or Chicken Nando's. Everyone call it Cheeky Nando's. Rohan Unrao, a top fan. Happy anniversary of the day of your relocation from the womb day. That one made Granny laugh.
That's
I did not see that one coming.
That must be high on her list of ones that she liked.
Josiah McDonald. Granny, our Granny. Better than the best. We hope you have a great birthday with cheer and rest. Hearing your voice makes us all glad. We love you, Granny, even if you are sometimes a bit mad.
I like that.
Happy birthday,
we
Granny.
finally
We love
are
you.
getting good poems, and we didn't even ask for them.
No. Edward Munoz. You're an important part of the show. It's not the same without your weekly segment. Happy birthday, Granny. We love you.
ah, that's nice.
Very, very nice.
Mike Skeggs. May you live to 1003. The show should be called The Granny Show. Steve Williams.
There used to be a bowler named Mike Skaggs
Maybe this is him.
that I
Really?
used to watch all the time. Could be a relative.
You know, could be. I hadn't thought of that.
Works at American Light and Fixture Shower Curtain Ring Division. Yeah. Steve Williams. Dear Granny, we love you. You're as awesome as you are old. Have a happy birthday and put your next year in a power knuckle hold.
I like that one. One of my picks.
Oh, spoiler.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Why are you spoiling it for, Granny? What's going on over there?
Thing. Pinball?
I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I believe this name is Haggai Philosoph. Happy birthday, Granny. That's all it says.
An excellent wish. One of my favorites.
Craig
It was very short.
It was very short. Craig J. Smart. Never stop being Granny.
Well, she'll always be Granny.
How could I stop being me?
I don't know. Joseph Merkel. Happy birthday, Granny. Tell Brian that he is a fanny.
God. What's with all the poetry here tonight?
I like those.
Okay, fine.
That's what I picked.
It just wasn't a request, if I recall correctly. It's just everyone did it.
That's what I was hoping for, though.
I don't want poetry if it's belittling me, calling me a fanny.
John Tab Somerville is back. Ode to Mrs. Gibson.
God.
May your day be grand by smacking Brian's hand. You are the 5th smartest person in the land because you are not a fan. Your grandson is a geek because of his critique. You need to guilt him to bring back the calls because he has no... And then there's a soccer ball emoji and a tennis emoji and a basketball emoji.
First off, John, you're an idiot, buddy. The calls have been back here and there. You just have to pay attention. We had calls on Friday. One guy called. But, I mean, the calls are available. Listen, John, the next time I take calls, I want you to call, and I want you to try to read that poem and get it all out before I hang up on you. You hear me? Good luck.
Mike Willett. Happy 90th birthday, Granny, from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Every week, you're a part of my life. I love to hear your show.
I was expecting a poem, and then...
It might be a poem. It doesn't rhyme.
I was stunned.
David Smith. My grannies are no longer with us, but listening to you reminds me of how great they were. Happy birthday, Birthday G.
Birthday G. It's like Shorty G.
It is, actually.
She's Oldie G.
Chris Haminsky. Roll out the barrel for Granny's big day. Power knuckle holds and chin chops at the local buffet.
Oh, man.
That's a nice one.
Brendan Armstrong, a top fan. Happy birthday, Granny. We all love you. Hope this next year is your best one yet. Heart emoji.
Oh, that one's very nice.
Chris Clem. Happy birthday, Granny. 10 out of 10 for sure.
Hey, I like these. I like the ones people put some thought into.
Vinny,
Yes.
did you skip Ryan Norcross's?
I have not seen Ryan Norcross's yet.
Oh, it's right between Chris Clem
Granny,
and...
we do this every single week. What's on his screen and what's on your screen are different.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure he reads that one.
Well, he'll have to find it. Go ahead, Vinny.
I wonder if I have muted him at some point.
Maybe you have. You never see his?
It's occurred to me. Maybe I don't. I don't know.
Wow.
I'll read it, okay?
Excellent.
Ryan Norcross says, I wish for the Seahawks to win the World Series and the Mariners to win the Super Bowl. That's my birthday wish from him.
You want to read that one more time, Granny?
I wish for the Seahawks to win the World Series and the Mariners to win the Super Bowl.
The Seahawks are going to win the World Series.
To be honest,
He's got it
I
backwards.
picked that up before Granny did.
the Mariners have as good a chance of winning the Super Bowl as they do of winning the World Series. So it doesn't really matter.
Listen, you don't have that belt right now, Vinny, so I don't want to hear it.
I wonder if he did that on purpose.
I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose, Granny. All right, Vinny, 3 more.
I believe it's David Zagel. Happy birthday, Granny. Thank you for always cheering me up and making me cry with laughter. You're the best.
Oh,
Best wishes to you from Polish subscriber. Yes, you have fans in Poland too. At least me and my friend. Smiley face.
wow, very nice.
Don't forget I've got mine, Brian.
Okay, let's do one more, Vinny. One more. Then Granny can do hers.
Andrew G. Caruth. Gonna end on a mean one, I guess. Happy birthday.
We're going to end on a mean one?
Should I skip the mean one?
Yes.
I'll skip the mean one.
Crying out loud.
Joey Hickman, a top fan. Happy birthday, Granny. Is there any charity you're a fan of so I can make a donation in your name? That's much friendlier.
I might come up with something. I don't know. I have to tell you a story at the end about that.
Well, Scout.
About the donation.
I don't even know what Granny's. She's just moved on. All right, Granny, read yours.
Okay, I just decided I'm going to go down to just two. Steve Williams and Joshua McDonald. Can you find those, Vinny?
I'll check. I can see Ryan Norcross's page, so I don't think I muted him. I don't know why I didn't show up. Okay, which ones are I looking for now?
Steve Williams.
Steve.
Probably not Dr. Death.
Yeah, I can see a Ryan Norcross comment now. I don't know, Ryan, why your comment's not showing up for me. Oh, it's at the top. All right. Steve Williams. Okay, this is the mean one I was going. No,
all right.
I read this one already.
I know, but this is her favorite.
Dear Granny, we love you. You are as awesome as you are old. Have a happy birthday and put your next year in a power knuckle hold.
All right. What's the other one, Granny?
Joshua McDonald.
Josiah McDonald. Granny, our Granny, better than the best. We hope you have a great birthday with cheer and rest. Hearing your voice makes us all glad. We love you, Granny, even if you are sometimes a bit mad.
Oh, wow.
I think that's my favorite right there.
All right. Does he get a cash prize for putting you over the hardest of anybody?
$10.
Really?
Yeah.
Classic.
Regular. That's what we give every
Yeah.
prize.
There you go. All right. What do we got for the report this week, Granny?
Okay. I want to thank everybody for the wishes. It was all nice, and I read every single one of them. Okay.
I agree.
Here we go. And I did all this, half of it, the middle of the night, so,
Good Lord.
yeah. Okay.
This should be exciting.
205 Live, October 25th. Leo Rush versus Laura Khan. Start by clasping fingers. Have power match. Arm roll.
A power match with Leo Rush?
Yeah. Arm rolls, fast moving match. Jumping antics. Laura Khan gives Rush a body crush.
Oh.
Wow.
Top of the rope, half and half suplex by Rush for the win.
Wow.
I give that a 7.
That's quite a finish, actually.
And then NXT October 24th, Noam Dar versus Trent Seven. I haven't seen Trent before. After a few moves, Dar takes a scarf, ties Seven's hand to corner post, then kicks him.
After a few moves.
He what?
After a few moves,
Yes.
she tied the end of the rope with a scarf.
Yes.
Seven gets on top of the rope. Dar knocks him off, then twists his fingers. Seven bangs his elbow on Dar's chin. Dar knocks him out of the ring. Seven falls hard. The ref starts to count.
That's the weirdest way I've ever heard anyone describe an elbow. He banged his elbow into his chin.
Okay.
That is what happens.
Ref starts to count. Lots of 2 counts. Seven manages to pin Dar for the win. I forgot how he won it, though. I gave that a 5.
5. Wow.
Okay, then here's a big long one. And guess who's in it?
The Undertaker.
It says April 27th. You can question but I wrote down what it was. April 27, 2007. Undertaker and Batista versus Finlay and Mr. Kennedy. No disqualification.
What a random match.
Knee on jaw by Batista. Finlay and Kennedy hold Undertaker and beat on him. Undertaker throws both out of the ring. When back in, Undertaker grabs Finlay by the hand and walks across the top of the rope. Batista's leg got hurt, so they worked on that, but by some miracle, Batista's leg got cured. Undertaker takes both by his famous chokehold. Somehow, when Undertaker isn't looking, Batista pinned one of them. Had trouble knowing who was who on those two.
They do have the same haircut.
Undertaker and Batista win that. I give it a 10. I like that one.
Believe it or not, she actually had the date right.
I'm sure she
Yeah.
did. That's
See, the thing is, like, Granny, here's the thing with these dates. This is why you sometimes get the date wrong. Are you ready for this?
I found out myself.
How?
Oh, just by checking it out. And
Okay.
I
But my
go to-
point is, when you see things on YouTube, sometimes the date that you see there
I
is the
know.
date that somebody put it on YouTube.
I know.
Okay.
I found that out.
Okay.
Okay, so then this is SmackDown, December 21st, 2007. Vicky Guerrero, the general manager of, I think it's SmackDown, isn't it?
Oh, you're watching SmackDown, so it'd be
She
pretty good.
comes into the ring in a wheelchair. Why was she in a wheelchair?
I don't know. You tell me. You're reviewing it.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't either. She must have had an accident.
She does a promo, gushes how great Edge is. Edge comes in with two sidekicks, Hawkins and Ryder.
Oh, the Edgeheads.
Their debut.
She presents him with a world heavyweight champion belt.
What year was this?
2007.
My God, they've been around that long?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
A dozen years.
Jesus.
Then Edge and Batista have a match, including she made them all three fight against Batista.
Well, that hardly seems fair.
Brutal.
Yeah. Batista beats them all for the belt,
I guess it was fair.
but Vicky says no, he has to fight Edge again. This time all three beat Batista up and Edge gets back the belt. I give that a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Wow.
Well, and that's all I got.
Well, Granny, an excellent job. I guess, man, it's going to be a very busy Sunday because we're going to go to your birthday, and then afterwards I'm going to go watch the WWE pay-per-view. Wait, we don't have a WWE pay-per-view. It's Crown
Are we-
Jewel.
are
Yeah, I was
we
going to
gonna-
say.
Yeah, never mind. Forget it. Forget what I said about the pay-per-view. But you will be on the show next Sunday.
I am?
Yeah, we can recap your birthday party.
Oh, okay, so I don't have to do any wrestling?
You can watch Crown Jewel if you want on Thursday, the Saudi Arabia show.
Oh, okay.
Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez.
Okay.
The
Wow.
Fiend and Seth Rollins in a match that cannot be stopped for any reason.
Ooh.
Realize how stupid that sounds?
I do.
Brian, if you possibly could you send me a message when some of those come on? Because I forget.
All right, I'll try to remind you on Thursday. It's in
And-
the middle of the day Thursday. It starts at like 10 a.m. Thursday.
Yeah, and Sylvia told me that Friday night one was on earlier. She watched that.
Yeah, you managed to. How could you watch SmackDown when it wasn't on Q13 this week?
I didn't watch it. She did, but she said it was on earlier on a
I
different
see.
channel.
It was. It was on a different channel, yes. Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to tell you my stupidity for the week.
Sounds like a
know-
hell of a segment.
Yeah, this should be a regular thing.
Yeah,
Randy.
can we do this every week?
Yeah, come on, Vinny.
I'll volunteer. I'll join in on what a stupid thing I did this week. That's fine.
I witnessed a lot of stupid things this week. Go ahead, Granny.
Listen, anyway, it was Dave's birthday. And so
It's already off to a hot start.
I guess
Don't tell me the ways talk to you too.
I've been reading. I read it something all wrong, and that he had something for a donation. So I thought, oh well, I never do too much with Dave, so I'll donate. So it said $15, and I thought, no, I don't want to spend $15, so I'll make it 10. Well, when I got back to the whole thing, I had done 15 and 10.
Oh, my
no.
God. $25.
You did too much good.
And guess what it was for?
I can
no.
only imagine.
Coyotes.
Wait. Hang on.
Really, coyotes.
No. This must
Yeah.
be something that cannot exist.
I'm just surprised. I want.
Meltzer, coyotes.
Yeah, what's going on here? Who set that up for him? For coyotes?
Must include coyotes.
It got so messed up. And then on Dave's page, it seems like there are 3 or 4 Dave Meltzers.
There are several Dave Meltzers on
This
Twitter.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I got, but it wasn't a Dave that did this. It's just altogether somebody different. And it's just, so I'm going to have to start being careful because I might wind up giving $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, if you tried to donate 100 times.
Yeah. Get all mixed up and put in the wrong.
Coyotes. Charity.
Yeah.
This is impossible. It can't exist.
So I put in $25 to save coyotes.
There's the Arizona Coyotes Foundation named after the hockey team. I don't think that's it. I mean, coyotes don't need help. They're doing fine.
I probably couldn't
Project
find it anymore.
Coyote. It's right up here at the top, Vinny. Pay attention, dude. There's a whole donate thing right here. Our funding comes from individuals like you who consciously value wildlife and invest in compassionate conservation. Your donation will be used to protect wildlife and wildlands and to promote coexistence through education, science, and advocacy. That's just like Whale Scout, just with coyotes. So see, Granny, you did good for nature.
They named it after coyotes. They're not saving coyotes.
And those coyotes are really cute that they got on this page here.
I'm happy they got
That makes me want to donate
cute coyote
$25.
pictures.
All right, anything else, Granny?
No, I don't know how I did it, but it was,
I don't know how you do anything, including manage to connect to this show, but you did it, so good job. All right, anything else?
nope.
All right, I'll see you on Sunday.
No, okay.
All right, I'll talk to you next time.
It's going to be a busy week.
It really is, Granny.
Okay.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. All right, we're back, everybody. We did it.
We got through the granny segment.
Yeah, we got through it. Let's do this NWA.
We watched an episode of NWA World Championship Wrestling from November 12th, 1988.
God, the first probably 30 minutes of this show just sucked. And then it totally turned around.
We open with a recap of the Midnight Express versus Midnight Express invasion angle from last week.
But they didn't show the invasion. They just showed the phone call.
Here.
Yeah.
I got to tease that. Then Paul E. dangerously cuts a promo. He appeared to have laryngitis here in his official debut.
Dude, he sounded like himself going through puberty.
Yes. It
was weird.
His voice cracked like 4 times in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
He introduced Loverboy Dennis and Ravishing Randy, the original Midnight Express, who wrestled Jerry Price and Rick Allen.
I was so excited to see Dennis Condrey back on my television. It's like, I have not seen this guy in, 2 years now? How long has it
years or
been?
something, yeah.
It feels like 2.5 years. It feels like 3 years.
It's probably since...
Well, you watch so infrequently.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, then he came back and made up for lost time. They wrestled forever.
Yeah.
So they've been purchased by Turner. And apparently in The Observer, Dave wrote, every week there will be new changes that you will see. And for like the first 45 minutes, I'm like, I've seen no changes on this show except the matches are longer, and it's not a positive. Now, by the end of the show, there was a lot of stuff that happened on this show. This felt like an important show, more so than a lot of them. But my God, did they need to wrestle Jerry Price and Rick Allen for 15 minutes? It just went on for an eternity.
They did not. It was not very interesting. I was mostly fascinated just by Paul E. Dangerously and just everything about him. First of all, he's out there, and of course, the gimmick of he has, as Jim Ross called it, he has that, I guess, mobile phone.
I was disgusted at the idea that you have a mobile phone.
And Paul E. Dangerously is out there on his phone having a conversation in public, because he, even in 1988, he knew that was an annoying thing to do on your cell phone. So he's out there, and he's got this beautiful mullet, and he's got a suit, but it's got these big, giant shoulder pads. He's such a 1980s cartoon here.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a cartoon. That's what you wore in the 80s. I wore a suit like that to like my 9th grade dance.
You were also a cartoon in the 80s.
It was ridiculous.
Yes.
And I had a mullet. I looked just like Paul.
I had a mullet at one point, too. I never had the suit. I never had the mobile phone, either.
No, I had a pager.
Did you?
I did.
I never had a pager.
I had a pager.
Yeah. So this match wrestled for like days and days and days, and it's not like it was horrible, but it did not need to go this long. And finally, Condrey won with the skull-crushing finale.
Hey, listen, for you youngsters out there that don't even know what a pager is, it was a little box that you could like clip to your belt.
Yeah.
And so...
And everyone did to show off, I have a pager.
You would get paged, which means a phone number would appear on your pager.
Yes.
And then you would have to go find a payphone.
Yes.
Or a landline.
Yes.
And then call that person back. But you could also, if you were clever, you could use the numbers to spell words.
Aha.
Yes. It was ridiculous.
So Dangerously does a promo after the match, and either way this goes down, he's a genius, because either he turned a fuck up into something great, or he had the great idea to fake this fuck up. Because he starts talking, and he gets about 10 words in looking to the wrong camera, and he turns to the right camera, and he uses this the fact that he wouldn't tell him what camera to use as evidence that he is not wanted in the NWA.
Well, it was more...
That was absolutely brilliant.
I think that it was an accident because his actual line was, I'm not from the NWA. I don't know what camera to look into here.
Yes.
That was his line.
Like it-
Now, seeing that Ric Flair doesn't know what camera to look into 50% of the time,
That's also true.
pretty sure this was probably an accident.
Yes.
But a great cover.
So he went off about how Dennis Condrey had been carrying Jim Cornette and Bobby Eaton for 5 years. And last week it was not Condrey carrying you, it was the paramedics carrying you, and they carried you out. Really doesn't matter what he said. It's not even whether it was a good promo or not. It's just surreal watching Paul Heyman in 1988 be himself. But it's 30 years ago.
It was bizarre.
He was
great.
He was fantastic.
It was like you watch him and you thought, man, this guy's awesome now, but holy smokes, was he terrible back then. He was great back then.
In most ways, it was the same.
Yeah.
And he's great now. Barry Windham versus Curtis Thompson.
Another match just went on like
We
10 hours.
This went through a break. They wrestled for like 3 minutes. Remember you had the match with Buddy? After like 5 minutes, like something went wrong, and Buddy just says, let's just start over. And you
Oh,
did.
yeah.
That's what Barry Windham and Curtis Thompson did. They just started over several minutes in. We finally have one match announced for Battle Stars. And Dusty Rhodes is going to get another U.S. title shot at Barry Windham. One match. It's great.
They haven't even announced like Road Warriors and Sting and Luger, which I actually don't even think they do, but like that should be a big match. That should be the first match announced after that huge angle they shot. Instead, it's a random Dusty Rhodes match.
So Dylan is talking forever about how he's the manager of the Four Horsemen. Managing the world and U.S. champions is enough. He doesn't need to add anyone else, but they are still the Four Horsemen. So this thing goes on just forever. After the break, because Barry Windham versus Curtis Thompson needed to go through a break, they're fighting for a suplex. And Barry lifts Curtis up, but he can't get it. And Curtis lifts Barry up, but he can't get it. And they go back and forth and back and forth. And finally, Curtis Thompson suplexes Barry Windham, but Windham bounces and floats over into a cover. I was praying that would be the finish, but it was not. And they just kept on wrestling. And eventually, at last,
We don't need to kill the listeners. Barry Windham won.
with the one with the suplex and lariat.
Yes, this was
these two
hideously
matches
boring.
and these two promos may have lasted like a half hour. When they came back after the break for a promo with all these guys,
It's with JJ. It's like JJ is a great promo, but I was so racked with boredom. I didn't even hear a word that JJ said. It was like it took me a while to wake up.
the amazing thing, as I was able to pay attention to what he said, and what he said was he cut promos on behalf of everyone else. He used to have a problem with Jim Cornette, but now Jim Cornette has a problem with Paul E. Dangerously. He used to have a problem with Sting and Lex Luger, but now they have problems with the Road Warriors. He talked about people from New Jersey being strange. That fits because Bam Bam Bigelow's from New Jersey. Bam Bam has not been tested, and at this point,
I can't believe you wrote all that down.
I'm a professional. At this point, Sir Oliver Humperdinck interrupted.
Dude, it was him and Bigelow, and this was the moment where this show turned around.
It really was a moment, like a flip of a switch.
This was a totally modern angle. Bigelow and Humperdinck come out, and Bigelow punches Windham in the face, and they just start brawling into the ring.
Windham, the two of them come out. JT immediately hides behind Windham, and so Bam Bam steps up in front of Humperdinck, and Windham says something about Bam Bam and asks, "What are you going to do about it?" And Bam Bam says, "This," and punches him.
They brawl into the ring. They actually start having something resembling a match. Like, they go back and forth. Bigelow beats him up for a while, then Windham posts him, and then Windham goes for a flying claw, but Bigelow avoids it. And then Bigelow lays him out, goes up top for what I thought was a diving headbutt. I guess it's a big splash at this point.
Well, yeah, the nuclear splash.
Nuclear splash. Yes. And Windham gets pulled to safety by JJ. So basically what they did was they gave you an exciting little angle. They made you want to see more. They made you have to pay to see if Bigelow can hit this big splash.
Yeah.
Because he ain't going to do it on TV for free.
No.
I thought it was a great little angle. And then it's like a hot angle. You're all excited. man, we're going to maybe see Barry Windham and Bigelow here down the road. And all of a sudden, Dusty Rhodes comes out and just starts. He literally came out and stole the spotlight from this segment.
Yeah, that's what happened.
To cut a promo.
Yes.
It's like, dude, must we?
Well, Brian, you can't really be a star unless you're getting the rub from Big Dust.
They did not get the rub from Big Dust here. Yeah. The fans are booing Dusty. He cuts his promo. I was like, these other guys look so impressive here, and now they're just in the background. I didn't like that.
They are Dusty Rhodes' sidekicks. Mike Rotunda wrestled a geek.
Yeah.
Now, it was a good 5 minutes into this match before they identified this man. When they identified him, it's David Isley, who I think is on the show every
week.
Single week.
No idea
but
who
he is so unremarkable that neither of us had any idea who he was.
Every single one of these jobbers is like, which generic jobber is this week? I have no idea who this guy is. I ask you every time, who's the geek? Every time.
There's 2 or 3 who are really good. Mike Jackson.
I know those guys.
Yeah. There's 2 or 3
the ones
who
who
are
suck are interchangeable.
There are 2 or 3 who are incomprehensibly bad.
Yeah.
Don Valentine, J.C. Wild. Everyone else in the middle is just whatever. So, Rick Steiner joins the crowd. He may have been sitting with Granny at one point.
This lady looked exactly like Granny did in 1988. It had to be Granny. Should have asked her about that.
So Mike Rotunda had a long and very successful career. So I don't want to say that it's kind of weird to say.
Did he bored you?
It's not that he bored me. It's not that to say he came along too early is inaccurate because he did just fine for himself. But the suplexes he was throwing in this match, this guy could wrestle so good. He just didn't do it very often because all he had to do is throw on suspenders and glasses and talk about tax cheese, and that was good enough. So beats him up for a long time. Eventually, he did a double arm suplex of pristine beauty. It was glorious to watch, and he pinned this fucker. And that was that. So they're doing a promo afterwards.
My God. After all this time, how long have we been watching the slow unraveling of the Varsity Club?
Since they started.
Months now.
Yeah.
So in the middle of a totally random nothing happening promo after a totally random nothing happening match, Rick Steiner just announces, I was supposed to wrestle Ric Flair today. I could beat Flair. And in fact, I could beat Dr. Death. I could beat Mike Rotundo. And I could beat you. And he screams right in Sullivan's face. He's purple. He's like so full of excitement and anger and fury. And the place goes nuts. And he walks off. I was like, what just happened? That was a breakup?
No.
I mean, they beat the hell out of him later.
Actually, this comes soon.
Yeah, like it's probably next week.
Yeah.
But still, it's like after all that, this went like 30 seconds. It was over.
It was a great 30 seconds.
It was.
This is one of those moments where we watch Rick Steiner destroy men every week, and he's clearly a horribly violent man, which is an important thing to be for a pro wrestler. And here, I mean, the crowd's been cheering him for weeks anyway, but he had babyface fire. And you think they could have run with this guy and Flair on top.
Well, you know what you have to think about all those squash matches we saw with Ron Garvin. And we couldn't figure out why the Ron Garvin thing didn't work. Then we saw it, and it clearly didn't work.
Yes.
You have to realize that we're watching in 2019 eyes where every geek has been the world champion.
Sure.
So when you think about some of these geeks that have been the world champion, it's like, yeah, this 1988 Rick Steiner, he should have beaten Flair. Just run roughshod over everybody as a powerhouse babyface. But it wouldn't have worked in 88. It would work if it were 1988 now. But it's not. It was 1988 then.
That's true.
All right.
All right. Here we have an example of somebody dropping the ball. So Bam Bam Bigelow has been destroying everyone. Looks totally different. Doesn't wrestle like anyone else in the company. Doesn't look like anyone else in the company. Great tattoos. He's got the manager. He stands out even as Dusty Rhodes' sidekick. And he came out earlier. He beat up Barry Windham, sent him packing. He's the top contender now. You have to be for the U.S. title. Ric Flair doesn't have a challenger right now. There's a vacancy there to step into. He's got the world at his fingers. He comes out here to wrestle Bill Holiday, and it's so boring.
You should just go out there and kill this guy.
I'm going to chinlock this man, he said. Wait till these fans get a load of my chin lock on Bill Holiday.
Keep in mind, he's a babyface.
Yes. He did nothing and then won with a nuclear splash.
Goldberg, this was not.
No, that's iceberg. This was bad. The sheep herders do a promo. So again, they have their map of the U.S. And this time they actually used it. As Butch mentions, we started here in the Northwest, which I actually didn't realize until many, many years later, but they did start their U.S. wrestling careers in the Pacific Northwest territory. They moved down the coast, they moved across Texas, and they captured every state championship there was to take. And now he says, the invasion must be finished. We must become the conquerors and take the U.S. Tag Team Championship. They're going to win the U.S. belts and flush the U.S. of Bloody A right down the toilet.
A fabulous.
I mean, they're all great.
They're all great.
But this was... Here's what set this apart from most sheep herders promos. This was coherent and had a point and a message.
Well, they all do.
Usually
but like this one...
There's a lot of random screaming and
they're
bloody
going to the
cousin.
finals.
Yes.
So there is definitely... And then they leave.
And they go away,
This
yes.
is depressing, but every time, it does not matter if I'm happy, sad, angry, stressed. Sheep herders promo, I'm always happy when it's over. That's what pro wrestling is.
Yeah.
I just loved this. And it was not the only thing on the show I felt that way about.
Lex Luger versus Trent Knight.
Hey, you got it. This and the promo, he got in and out.
Well, you got me there.
This was not a 20-minute match.
20 seconds in or so, Lex Luger attempts a press slam. Something goes wrong, and as Trent Knight is falling to earth, Lex desperately grabs his arm and leg to save his life, and he is left standing there, holding Trent Knight off the mat by one arm and one leg. Like if you ever give a kid an airplane ride, you just grab one arm and leg and spin him around in the backyard. It looks like that's what Lex is going to do. And he just lets go.
You should have spun him.
It would have been better. And then as he does this, Jim Ross says, Lex Luger controlling Trent Knight.
Well, he
Which
did.
is, no, it's exactly the opposite of what happened. He had no control over him.
Well, once the guy fell, he controlled him.
So then Lex says, well, this is done. I think once he had fucked that up, he knew this match was beyond repair. He had the power slam and torture rack and won.
I like to think that it was supposed to go longer, but he was just done.
When the press slam was messed up, he said,
I can do nothing with this man.
I cannot save this. Let's just end it. And then he does it. Somehow he got blown up in 2 minutes.
Somehow?
Does a promo here on the Road Warriors. He says he thought he knew Animal very well, thought they were friends. He's got nothing in common with Hawk, and he never has. Which is funny, because we have never seen Animal and Hawk in different places on the show. We have no idea what the difference between the two of them is, except the haircut. Hawk, you want to jack my jaw? I'm standing right here, right now. And then he goes on a speech about Sting. I've never seen a man jump like this. I've never seen a man with this much power, this much charisma. Sting, he says, is the finest wrestler in our sport today. He should be world champion at this point in time. Which I thought was a very odd thing to say, considering Lex is the one who's been the top contender forever.
Well, that's true, but I guess the Sting Flair match was before the Luger match. Is that right?
Yes, Sting had the Clash match in April.
So he said Sting took Flair 45 minutes, kicked his butt, should be world champion. So, I mean, if that would have happened, he would have been the world champion. Lex never would have got his shot. That's how I read this.
Says they're not scared of the Road Warriors. You'll find out how tough we really are. Ric Flair versus George South.
So on the Thursday show, Vinny, you mentioned that when Matt Riddle is on the screen, you can't take your eyes off of him.
Yes, every single thing.
You've got to look at every little solitary thing that Matt Riddle does.
Yes.
That's Ric Flair.
I was watching this and it occurred to me how vastly underrated Ric Flair is.
He's the best of all time.
Astonishing.
It's not even...
He's wrestling George South.
I realize I've said that the greatest wrestler, like, Okada's the best worker I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Ric Flair is, like, just the greatest. You want to talk about his work and his character and his promos and just being, like, he is the best of all time. Ric Flair, he's like one of two guys, and it's more, and actually of the two, he is more so than the other. The other's Shawn Michaels. He's one of two guys where every time I watch one of their matches, I want to go wrestle immediately.
Yes.
Nobody else in the whole world. And it's more Flair than Shawn, because Shawn sometimes goes out there and kills himself. And I'm like, I'm 44 years old, dude. But I look at Flair and I just think, my God, it's kind of depressing, actually, because there's like nobody you can go out there and have a Ric Flair match with, or have a match. It's like, this is what it used to be like to work with Buddy. I could just go out there and we would always have a good match. We never had to do anything. Like, I would always go back and, what are we going to do? Don't worry about it. He wouldn't tell me anything. He would never tell me anything.
He wouldn't know anything.
And at the time, it was like, can you just tell me something so I can have some plan? But now looking back, it's like, those were the days.
Yes.
We had nothing. And we would go in there and we would have these matches, and that's what I think about when I watch these Ric Flair matches, because Buddy was like my Ric Flair. Just the greatest. I just watched this match. It's every Ric Flair match you've ever seen, but I could watch it every day for the rest of my life.
Yes.
The same
That's
match
exactly it.
over and over again. Show me Ric Flair, George South every day when I wake up in the morning. I will be happy. Just a fabulous, just a match. Just a professional
They had a back
wrestling
and
match.
forth competitive match where Ric Flair made you believe for 15 minutes that George South was on the same level as the World Heavyweight Champion.
George South.
Who we see, he's one of the guys we see lose every single week on the show. But on any given Saturday, Brian, he may have a chance. It only takes 3 seconds to beat him in. Now, there is one thing. When you say it was every Ric Flair match ever, that's not quite the truth. He goes up to the top rope. So, of course, he's going to get press slammed off. And George South runs up to grab him, and Flair is screaming, God, no, no, no. And George South tosses him off, and Flair takes a big, giant jumping bump off the top rope, and his feet hit a light, and equipment begins to fall into the ring. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The match continues. Teddy Long frantically gets everything out of the way, and eventually, South makes his comeback, but he misses a wacky something off the top rope, and Flair hits the big vertical suplex and the figure four for the win. And he is still your world's heavyweight champion.
You know, I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Your average person on the street, when they think of a professional wrestler, they think of Hulk Hogan. He's big. He's got big muscles. He's just
boisterous.
He does his Hulk Hogan thing. He's larger than life.
Over the top, yes.
Ric Flair is professional wrestling. There is nobody I have ever seen where when they're in the ring, I watch it and I'm like, that's pro wrestling. Nobody. There's nobody like Ric Flair.
I'm going to read this date again. I want you all to pay attention, write this down, and watch this match when you get home. November 12th, 1988, NWA World Championship Wrestling. Available right now on the WWE Network.
He's the greatest.
It's the best. Then he does a promo. It's a great promo. This, he says, is real-life combative sport. Some of us are successful and make millions of dollars. Some of us get hurt and they go broke. Dusty Rhodes, you have made a pact with a man I detest for a bunch of reasons, all of them personal. Bam, Bam, Bigelow. Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon join him. He says, we know we're the best. We have been styling and profiling all over the country, leaving women in a trail of destruction in our wake.
Wyndham's out there. He's so sad because he got beat up by Bam Bam Bigelow. As soon as Flair says the line about the women, Barry cracks a smile.
It's the better days ahead. There's no love lost, Flair says, between myself and Animal and Hawk. But can you imagine me walking into a bar between them? Can you imagine this foursome? The Nature Boy Ric Flair, Barry Windham, and Animal and Hawk. And that's it. He leaves. So
I just love that Flair mentions the Four Horsemen.
he's trying to get them to join
And
the
we don't
Warriors.
have Four Horsemen anymore.
Right. Well, JJ
He wants the Road Warriors, yes, but
I'm pretty sure that was him going into business for himself, which really makes sense, like in and out of character, because they have two open slots. Even though, as JJ insists, they are still the Four Horsemen, even though he's not actually recruiting anyone else. But if you were Ric Flair, world champion, wouldn't you rather have these big scary monsters on your side than chasing your title?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Abdullah the Butcher versus Randy Hogan.
Oh, this Randy Hogan. My God.
He's got...
I gotta, go ahead.
It's Randy Savage's first name, Hulk Hogan's last name, Ric Flair's gear, and he sucks.
So this Randy Hogan, okay? Online World of Wrestling.
Oh, no.
It's got a profile of Randy Hogan, okay? So, it says here, career highlights.
Oh, boy, this should be good.
Randy Hogan was Dustin Rhodes' first TV opponent.
Okay.
Rhodes was teaming with Kendall Windham as the Young Broncos.
I can't believe that didn't get over.
Randy Hogan owns a restaurant in Lakeland, Florida, and remains in reasonably good health.
Reasonably.
And then underneath that, it says, and I quote, "Special thanks to Randy Hogan himself for helping to fill in the content on this profile." And then Randy Hogan writes, "Although 3 heart attacks this past 10 years have retired me, I still love and follow the sport. A mark forever, I guess. Thanks again, Randy Hogan." So then...
That's his relatively good health?
Yeah.
3 heart attacks?
Yeah. So then... This is his title history. I'm just going to read what's written here. Alabama Junior Heavyweight title. Alabama Tag Team titles with Butch Warrior. Georgia Junior Heavyweight title.
Are you sure it's not Warrior Butch?
Georgia Tag Team titles with Butch Warrior. Florida Junior Heavyweight title defeating Slick Willie.
What?
Florida Heavyweight title defeating Buddy Valentine. NWA Junior Heavyweight title defeating Downtown Denny Brown. And underneath in bold it says, "This title history was provided by Randy Hogan himself, most of which cannot be confirmed or verified, in all caps, anywhere."
Butch Warrior was apparently Giant Warrior. That same guy. I got totally thrown off track by looking at Butch Warrior.
Not sure if you're aware, but he had finishing moves.
I was absolutely 100% not aware.
The Hogan leg drop is one.
Really?
And the RH leg lock.
Well, he invented it.
Yes.
The Randy Hogan leg lock. So I was watching Abdullah wrestle Randy Hogan here. I was curious if he ever did wrestle Hulk Hogan, and they did. There's a bunch of early 80s Hulk Hogan versus Abdullah the Butcher matches from Japan on YouTube if you wanted to look them up, which I am actually curious about. At one point in this match, Abdullah the Butcher put one foot on Randy Hogan's throat and the other foot on his face and stood there.
Yeah, he did.
I legitimately don't know how this was not a fatality. It's a mystery to me. And then Abby won with the big fat elbow. And then, boy, did we get a promo. Now, as much as I agree with you, Brian, when you say that Ric Flair is pro wrestling, you also can't have pro wrestling without segments such as this.
Dude, this, honest to God, like halfway through, I wrote, "This is the best promo I've heard all year." And then, and I'm talking like watching retro shows too. And when it was over, I'm pretty sure this was one of the greatest promos I've ever heard in my entire life.
So first, before the promo actually begins, Abdullah goes after Randy Hogan more, and Gary must subdue him by putting the black hood on his head to calm him down. So he brings Abdullah back over to the podium, which Abdullah promptly destroys, and then begins to eat. Now, let's not gloss over this. He's not like gumming it or mouthing it. They do a close-up. Abdullah the Butcher is biting off chunks of wood.
Yes, he was eating wood and paint chips.
Yes. As this goes on, David Crockett looks at this man with his man boobs floating around to his back.
Oh, wrong promo, by the way.
This is not the best one you ever saw?
The Jim Cornette promo later. I got ahead of myself.
Well, frankly, I was not surprised when you said this is the best promo you ever saw. But David Crockett takes in Abdullah the Butcher and just says, right in front of his face, into a microphone, "What a gross individual." And Gary Hart says, "He is not only gross, he is real. 400 pounds of terror." He's going on about all this man can do. They zoom in on Abdullah chewing wood. As Gary Hart says, "Who among you has the courage? Who among you has the heart to stand before," and this is the quote of Gary Hart, "the big black."
That's what he said.
Not black guy or black monster. The big black. And look him eye to eye. Are you man enough to insult him? Are you man enough to challenge him? Because if you are a fool. There is only one boogeyman. And the boogeyman is coming for you. This was great, Brian.
Yes.
This was a great pro wrestling promo.
This was great. It was not the greatest promo I've ever seen.
It was not the greatest promo on the show because in the next segment, the Midnight Express come out. Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane, and Jim Cornette. They've all got Band-Aids on, and Jim Cornette is carrying the white jacket stained with his own blood from last
This
week.
right here, everybody. This was one of the greatest promos I've ever heard in my life.
So here, first, Cornette orders them to show the footage from last week's attack, and they do. Do you want to have the floor here, Brian?
No, go for it.
So
I was just watching.
So Cornette explains. First thing he says, he congratulates Paul E. on a job well done. I believe he said you outdid myself or something along those lines, but he didn't bitch about this. He was impressed by what Pauline and his men had done. Everyone who runs the station, he says, has warned me not to say what I want to say. So this is the censored version. So after what aired last week, I got a call from Mama Cornette. She told me, let the lawyers take care of it. I'll pay for everything, and you get out of wrestling because it's just too dangerous. And he told Mama, don't you worry. It's about damn time I did something on my own.
He says this line, and the place goes nuts.
Suddenly, they are not in a studio in the Peachtree Studios, or whatever it was in Atlanta, Georgia. They're in a 20,000-seat arena, and everyone's going mad. It's crazy. He says it takes more than geeks, and I like that word, so I'm going to use it, more than geeks, in some funny-looking clothes to be the Midnight Express. You say Dennis Conde was carrying Bobby Eaton. When that team started, it was even, but by the end, Bobby was carrying Dennis's big fat ass. He lists everything one by one that Bobby and Stan have done that Bobby and Dennis never did. Finally, he says Bobby and Stan were world tag team champions, and yes, Bobby and Dennis were also world tag team champions, but Bobby and Stan beat a better team, they lost to a better team, and they beat a bunch of better teams in the middle. And then he says, I want to talk to Paulie dangerously directly. And he takes off his glasses, and the camera zooms in on him. He says, in the last 5 years, I've dedicated myself to doing everything I could to make the Midnight Express the best tag team in wrestling. I've been beat up. I've been busted open. I've been stripped naked. I've been thrown off scaffolds, and I deserve half of it. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let you take my job. He says, you look like a cross between Jim Belushi and Michael Keaton, which is the most accurate thing anyone's ever said about this particular rendition. As soon as he said it, I was like, oh my God, he does look like Jim Belushi and Michael Keaton. Takes this bloody jacket and says, Stan's going to take one sleeve. Bobby's going to take the other sleeve. I'm going to take the whole thing. We're going to wad this up. We're going to figure out what's the largest orifice on your body and shove it down there. And that was that.
Fabulous.
It was amazing.
Seriously, everybody needs to watch this show so they can watch the Ric Flair match and the Jim Cornette promo.
I'll repeat the date.
It is the absolute pinnacle of professional wrestling.
November 12th, 1988. Eddie Gilbert and Ron Simmons versus Gary Royal and Bret Holiday. So, I suspect that Eddie Gilbert overthought this one, if I'm guessing, because you got two jobbers and a very green Ron Simmons, and they tried to do a lot of very similar spots where, like, the jobbers would dodge an elbow, but then Eddie wouldn't really drop it, and the guy turned around and Eddie would punch him. This happened 2 or 3 times. And then the finish is Eddie is running the ropes, and he throws in the brakes and points behind him, and Bret Holiday turns around, and Ron Simmons is supposed to do a flying shoulder tackle. He basically did a high fly flow and squashed the man and pinned him.
This is not a match you need to overthink.
No.
Just go in there and beat up these two geeks.
Let Ron be the big strong who muscles them around, hit your hot shot, and win.
Although I will say, Gary Royal is pretty good. And Brett Holiday, where's Brett Holiday been? One of the Holiday brothers?
He's one of the Holiday
How
brothers.
have I never noticed that this guy moves so well?
I don't know.
Ron Simmons went to give this guy a body slam, and you have never seen a fat guy go upside down faster than this. Now, Ron Simmons is a big, strong, powerful man. I believe that on his own, Ron Simmons could lift up and turn Brett Holiday over for a body slam, but Brett Holiday spun so fast. He went up light as a feather. I was like, this guy's good. Am I wrong?
I didn't notice, but I will not.
What kind of a reviewer are you?
I was focusing on what Eddie Gilbert was overthinking in the complicated spots.
All right, well, next time watch Brett Holiday.
All right, everyone remind me.
He's the superior Holiday brother, I believe. I don't even know who the other Holiday is. Don?
Bob or Brad
John?
or... It was a B word. They've teamed up at least once. The Road Warriors do a promo. Animal says he only ever hung out with Luger to protect him from fans who might mouth off to him the way Lex has mouthed off to the Road Warriors. He says he'll be the first one to admit that Lex Luger and Sting look great, but they got posing muscles, he says. Me and Hawk got fighting muscles. They can take the pain, and they can dish it out. And Hawk says, Lex, you're right. Me and you were never friends because to be my friend, you got to be a man. And Lex never was. And they've been heels now for like a month. Hawk has to acknowledge they're still being cheered. People like us having belts around our waists.
Brad and Brett Holiday.
So they leave, and Ellering says something. I had moved on by the time he'd already started to talk, but his last line was something about how it's as stupid as saving those stupid whales in Alaska.
That's what he said.
And then I
Turned heel on Ellering right there.
I was very confused, and then I remembered this, and I looked this up. It's on Wikipedia under Operation Breakthrough. Basically, some whales were in a bay feeding for a while, and while they were feeding there,
Whitney?
yeah, the ice froze in behind them, and they were blocked off from the sea. And there was a huge operation with people went up and dug trenches and tried to blast holes in the ice so the whales could get back to the ocean.
Huh.
And Paul Ellering thought it was stupid.
Wow.
There you go.
I did like the line about how Luger has show muscles and the LOD have fighting
Show muscles. That was it.
Excellent.
I'll change that. I wrote posing muscles, but show
They
muscles.
may have said posing muscles, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. The Fantastics versus Terry Jones and Agent Steel. Did you get anything out of this match?
I wrote, and I quote, nothing match, period.
I wrote, Fantastics win with Cannonball.
All right.
And then they do a promo, so they're making fun of the Sheep Herders artwork.
Before we even get to the line, okay, let me just say, these Fantastics are not a very good promo. But you know who is a good promo? The Sheep Herders.
Right?
So the part of their promo is them impersonating the Sheep Herders, which resulted in them doing one of the better promos I've ever seen.
Sure.
I was writing about what a great promo they were doing, and then it went off the rails.
So they mention the Sheep Herders map of the U.S.
Did we talk about their map?
The Sheep Herders, yes, they started in the Northwest.
Toilet.
Yes, the map. And the Sheep Herders have this map of the toilet at the bottom. And the Fantastics describe this map. You got that map with the U.S. and the toilet, and how you're going to conquer the U.S. And then Tommy Rogers says, and this is not a quote, but it's very, very close.
I would have wrote it down.
It may be a quote. The United States was not conquered. It was founded by Christopher Columbus.
I think that's exactly what he said.
You know?
America was not conquered. It was founded
Founded.
by Christopher Columbus.
You know, if he had cut this promo like 2 years earlier and Wahoo McDaniel had been in the studio, may have had a different result.
My God.
So
My
there you
Lord.
go.
That was the end. This was the highs and lows of the NWA. You know that?
It really was.
I mean, we saw some stuff here that was just god-awful. But, man, the Flair match, and listen, everybody, it's like probably a 3.25 star match. I'm not sitting here saying it's 7 stars. It's just like a really good TV match. But it's just like everything. It's everything pro wrestling.
It's a perfect match for what it was meant to be.
And the Cornette promo is probably a 7-star promo.
That's true.
It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The most hated guy. They did a double turn with these Midnights and the Road Warriors. And it's just crazy. He is so over, and you just want to see revenge. That's what you want to see. Mm-hmm. We're out of time, everybody. Going to wrap it up. I'll be back tomorrow, Observer Live, Observer Radio, and I believe the Filthy Show is being moved to Friday because Tom very much wants to review...
There's a cat. Just move on.
Very much wants to review Crown Jewel, so I think we're going to move
Does
to
he?
Friday.
All right.
So, yes, I've buckled to the pressure. Tom wants to do it, so we'll do it. It's probably going to be Friday. And everything else, check out the front page. That's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Adios.